See if I can mute. Myself. Did I make you host? I think I did. Yeah, I did. That's because we've muted ourselves, I suspect.
Myself find out. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me now? Yep, Kayla can hear me. Right, good morning, Kayla. There's a bit of echo in this room, so maybe Peter could press mute or something. Okay, that's better. So it's Peter and I actually in the same room. He's actually not on a tropical island somewhere in the South Pacific. He's in the same boring room. Yes, Kayla, I know it's shocking, isn't it? But I'm not going to tease Peter today. There'll be no banter. We're going to keep it strictly professional. Thanks, Peter.
I'm still right about the rabbits, though.
Yeah, we're not talking about the rabbits.
Who wants to eat dogs? I'm going to ask you.
Thank you, Georgia, that you might love the banter, but other people think I'm bullying Peter. And I, too nasty to him about dogs and rabbits and so forth.
Or that we just don't get on, which just definitely isn't true.
Bullying shows love. That's an interesting perspective, Georgie. Need to keep him keen, hey? I don't think you should press unmute when you speak.
Oh, okay.
I think it'll pick me up. It'll pick you up here. They can tell a different voice. Oh, the transcript. Oh, whatever. The transcription's so bad anyway. Okay, so we'll get started in 2 minutes because I don't want to start before 9 o'clock because that's not really fair on people that come on the dot at 9 o'clock. But I hope you all had a nice weekend. It's a little bit cold today and windy, as you can see from Peter's palm trees.
And my hair.
Your hair, yeah, my hair. And this is week 11, Peter?
It is.
So we've got week 11 and week 12 for tutorials. No tutorials in week 13, but we've still got some activities to do, some Q&A and so forth. And then your assignments due week 1 of the exam period, which is Friday, the 11th of June.
Oh, I tell you what, we should show them how to do a search in the discussion.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, today we'll show you how to do a search in the discussion forums. Okay, are you guys ready for us to start? I'm just going to pretend it's 9 o'clock. It's almost 9. By the time I share my screen, it will be. Yep, Cassandra's ready. Okay, let's have a look. Just let me figure out this thing. Jack's ready. Week 10 Q&A. Oh, it's week. Yeah, no, it's week 11, but I think I just called it week 10, even though it says week 11 on it.
We're on top of things.
Yeah, there it is. It says week 11. And as soon as I share, like everything goes crazy on this computer. Okay, so can you all see the Intro to Ed Q&A week 11 screen, PowerPoint? Good. So welcome everyone to week 11 of EDAC 1038/EDAC 1048, colloquially known as Intro to Ed. I'm just going to go through a few things that are happening in the course this week, and then I'll give you guys lots of opportunities to ask questions about assignment 3. I can fully appreciate that you're kind of recovering from assignment 2 at the moment, but it probably is a good idea to start thinking about assignment 3, which is due in a few weeks' time. It's week 11, 12, week 13. So in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, it's 3 weeks' time it's due. So we should be thinking about it now. So up next at the Building Successful Pathways that Melanie Innes is running, it's a really good session. So I really encourage you to go. It's by the University of Newcastle Students Associations. Oh, it's been cancelled. Melanie has just let me know.
Oh, no.
That's a shame, as our guest is sick. Okay. Did you want to do something else, Melanie? Do you want me to have a chat with him about something else, or are you happy just to cancel it and come back next week? So there is no Building Successful Pathways, but there is a PASS session on. There is a PASS session on at the same time. So at 10 o'clock, if you'd like to go to Casey, the PASS session, and they're on the screen for everyone to see, are the 5 sessions that are run weekly for PASS. So you can go to PASS. They're not there to help you with content or assignments or things like that. They're there to help you with study sessions, so study skills. How do I study? Okay, so that can be worthwhile going. And don't forget, Melanie's still running her first year experiences session. So tomorrow night is me. I'm back, everybody. Sorry that I was absent for the past 2 weeks. I think I was sick one night and I can't remember what happened last week. But I'm back tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. So anybody that wants to come along and, talk about kids and studying and how awesome it is and juggling all sorts of different responsibilities, I'll be back with my children. So isn't that fun? What a fun treat for everybody. And
With my wife.
And then we have a drop-by. Melanie's got a drop-by session at Callaghan on Wednesdays 11 to 12, and a drop-by session at Arimba from 1 till 2 on Thursdays. Okay, so this week we really focused on the quality teaching model. And one of those questions is, well, what is the quality teaching model? It was developed by Associate Professor James Ladwig and Laureate Professor Jennifer Gore here at the University of Newcastle. So it's a really uniquely University of Newcastle program, and it's been taken up by the Department of Education New South Wales. So in fact, when you go out to schools on your placement and the teachers know that you're from the University of Newcastle, they will expect that you know about the quality teaching model, and they will expect that you know the dimensions and the elements within it, and they will expect that you know how to teach according to it. Sometimes you might get asked to even give a short presentation about the quality teaching model. So we touch on it in this course, and then in your placement courses and other courses, you will learn more about it. So here we just kind of dip our toe in it a little bit. So what is the quality teaching model? Well, rather than focus on learners, the quality teaching model focuses on teachers and what they do in the classroom. And and Laureate Professor Jennifer Gore really believes that teachers who are already qualified and fabulously qualified in Australia can use the quality teaching model to enhance their teaching. What James and Jennifer did is that they built on 2 other models that went before it. So one was from the 1990s about authentic pedagogies from Wisconsin in the United States. And then that got brought over to Australia, actually to Queensland in the early 2000s, and it was called productive pedagogies. I'm happy to speak to anybody about productive pedagogies or quality teaching anytime. 100 years ago, when I was a beginning teacher and I worked at School of the Year, we were the guinea pig school for productive pedagogies, and we really found it was really effective in identifying, well, what is it about, what are the elements of teaching that are important to be able to enhance our own teaching practices, to focus on what's important. So that then got brought down to down to New South Wales, name change, and a few other little bits and bops added and some little things taken away, until we've now got the New South Wales quality teaching model, and has 3 dimensions and 18 elements. So the 3 dimensions are intellectual quality, a quality learning environment, and significance. So those 3 things are considered to be really important dimensions of teaching in every single class that you take. So you don't just go, you don't go from the 18, I'm going to pick higher order thinking and that's what I'm going to do today. The idea is that all of these elements are within every single lesson, okay? So intellectual quality has things like deep knowledge, deep understanding, problematic knowledge, higher order thinking, meta language, substantive communication. Quality learning environment has explicit quality criteria, engagement, high expectations, social support, student self-regulation, student direction. And in fact, later on, I think I might post an example of, I was in a school 2 weeks ago, and up on the butcher's paper, what the teacher had done is she'd written the outcomes for the lesson. And then underneath that, well, she wrote one outcome for the lesson. And underneath that, she wrote, you know, how do I know that I'm meeting this criteria? I know because I'm doing this, 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 and this. And so it was really good to unpack all that for the students so that they actually know, what do I need to do to be successful in this task that we're doing? Okay. Then we've got significance, which includes background knowledge, cultural knowledge, knowledge integration, inclusivity, connectedness, and narrative. Okay, so there's those 3 dimensions, and each dimension's got 6 elements, so 18 in total. So it's kind of easy to remember. 3 times 6 equals 18. Okay. Are there any questions? Put your hand up if there are. Just let me, I hope there hasn't. Have there been people with their hands up? So I just realised I can't see. I can't see, Peter.
Can't see. Are you looking at panelists?
Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, everybody. When I share my screen, all sorts of things happen on my little laptop here. So I can see that someone's got their hand up. Let's have a look. Oh, Kayla. Good morning, Kayla, and your surfing photo. How are you going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. I was just wondering how many elements you would really focus on just for one lesson.
All 18, Kayla, is the message.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. When I did productive pedagogies in Queensland, we took a different take on it. And what we did in Queensland was, and I'm not saying this is better or worse, I'm just making an observation. What we decided on in Queensland was that over the week or over the unit of work, you would definitely do all of the, they weren't called dimensions, but we'll just call them that for the moment. You do all of those dimensions across a unit or across a week. But the quality teaching model says actually you should be doing this in every single lesson. They can see you, Peter.
I can see me. Turn my screen off.
So that's the idea. And in fact, I used to do coding for Laureate Professor Jenny Gore in classrooms as well, probably about 10 or 11 years ago using this model. So I'd go into the classrooms and I'd code teachers according to these dimensions and elements. Are there any other questions about the quality teaching model? I'm happy to open it up. I'm happy to have robust discussion about it.
I got evaluated because they did a pilot with staff last year.
Oh.
And I got evaluated, so I joined the pilot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And they came and watched, well, they didn't, because it was COVID, so they looked at my online stuff, my online tutorial. And the feedback I got was I did really well on some of them and really badly on some of the others, but that was okay because it actually wasn't feasible to do everything in every lesson.
Oh, okay. Then maybe they've changed their ideas.
Yeah.
But definitely when it was being developed, the idea was definitely that you should do every element in every lesson. So
They're learning every element.
yeah, maybe. Cassandra.
Morning.
Good morning. How you going?
Good. Just a question. So in early childhood, we use the EYLF.
Yes.
Would this be similar into the primary schools?
This is in the primary schools at the moment, the quality teaching model, yes.
So when we assess one of our intentional teachings and we link it to one of the, say, 4.1, would this be similar to that?
Yeah, the early years learning framework is definitely developed separately from a quality teaching model. They don't have that kind of same relationship at all.
Okay.
So I don't want to conflate the two.
Yep.
I think you could take dimensions and elements from the quality teaching model and apply it to the early years learning framework, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
But just like I think you can take things from the early years learning framework and apply it through primary school and high school. I just, belonging, being and becoming are actually really important. And if you want to talk about belonging, then we're talking about social support, we're talking about inclusivity, we're talking about connectedness, background knowledge and cultural knowledge, so you can actually look at that and how it relates, but it certainly wasn't created that way and no one that I know of has ever mapped it across.
Okay.
Although that would definitely be interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Cassandra. Does anyone else have any questions about the quality teaching model? It's important that you learn about it. It's important that you know about it. Before you go on your placement. And that's why we touched on it here and you'll carry it through. Lucinda, is that the same question you're asking that Cassandra just asked? Would it be more linked to the National Quality Framework for early years? It's not really, they're not actually linked at all. Okay, the quality teaching model is definitely a school-based model for primary schools and high schools. It has been trialled at universities. I also trialled some assessment with using a quality teaching model. So that's interesting as well. I'm not sure they continued on with the assessment stuff at university, but I wish they had of, because I think we can, I think assessment's interesting at university and so forth. Okay, let's have a look. Let's keep going if there's no more questions. LinkedIn. So I hope you're going well with your LinkedIn profiles. I'm still getting a few requests to connect every week or so. So make sure you're on there. Follow people that you find interesting. Of course, Peter and I go without saying, we're very interesting. John Fischetti is interesting. He's our Pro Vice Chancellor, and he's often posting little videos that he does on the radio. So that's and there's other people that from the readings from this course, if you think, oh, I really like what that person wrote, I'm going to follow them, then go to LinkedIn and connect with them through LinkedIn, and also look at them up on Twitter, because often educators in Australia anyway, and definitely in England, use Twitter a lot to communicate their ideas. For those of you who are studying history teaching, I'm going to do a little bit of a advertisement for myself. You should join up the New South Wales History Teachers Association as soon as possible. I think it has a very reduced fee, or it could be free still for student teachers. And this Wednesday, I'll be giving a webinar about the national curriculum changes and how it impacts history. So if you're a history student, that might be something good for you to come along to, just to get an idea about professional development and an idea about who else is involved in the history world. That was a shameless plug. I thought I might just give another little reminder about professional communication. One of the reasons why I bang on a bit about this is multifold. One of them is I actually find it really stressful to get emails from students and colleagues where I can't understand what the student wants. The sentences are too long. There's no introduction to, dear Heather, hello Heather, those kinds of things. It's just straight into it. It's stressful to try and interpret what the person means. And so, especially if you're asking for something, you know, when you go to your mum and you say, give me some Nutella toast, are you going to have more luck by saying, give me Nutella toast? Be quiet, Peter. This definitely has a.
I don't know what Nutella toast is even.
Oh.
But keep going. Don't let me interrupt.
Oh, don't let me interrupt, he says after interrupting. Okay, we said we weren't going to do this today. We're not bantering today because people think I'm bullying you. We're keeping it professional.
Nutella toast is professional. Keep going.
If you say, give me some Nutella toast, mum, and the mother says, oh, excuse me, how might you like to say that? And you say, oh, mummy, could I please have some Nutella toast? Your mother's probably more willing to make you Nutella toast. So it's the same with emails when you're asking me for something. I'll probably have a much more chance of saying yes if you go, dear Heather, sorry for the late notice. My dog feels sick. Can I have an extension for the assignment? Rather than, I didn't put my assignment in. If you're going to deduct marks from me, that's your problem. You know, so you can catch more flies with honey is what I like to say. So just remember that with your email etiquette, especially when most of the course is online in terms of the Q&A. Then you can, thanks, Georgie. And that's the only contact I have with you. So it's on email. So it's nice to be nice. It's probably what I'm trying to say. There have been schools that have cancelled placements from students showing unprofessional communication. So that's another reason. I'm training you on how to behave. I'm training you on how to address principals and so forth. Okay. So yeah, it has definitely happened, and it happened last year. So be wary of how you project yourself. And I know we're all stressed out and busy, but it doesn't take that much extra time to say something nice. Okay, and again, all those students that have set up email signatures, they are brilliant. It makes it so easy to just know who I'm talking to, what we're talking about. I'm also a program convener, and program conveners really appreciate it, because then we can see what's your degree, should you even be contacting us, what's going on, what campus you're at, when you commence study. It's actually very helpful. So if you haven't yet set up your email signature, please do so. I also like the photographs. I think that's really good, because then I know, okay, who am I speaking to? That looks great. And I have to say, the primary school students in this course have done that really well, by far in the majority. So put your email signature up. And it's also good for when you're going to be emailing principals or supervising teachers, that they can see that as well. And it just adds a level of professionalism. So I guess you're all here for assignment 3. So yes, it's due Friday, week 1 of exams. And by the end of this week, you should have decided on a topic. So well done to everybody who got their assignments in. I know it's stressful. That's part of the reason for the Q&A. So this Q&A every week is designed to support you to do your assignments. And so let's have a look. Are there any general questions, or would you like me just to go through the task first? Okay, let's have a look at the task. So what I thought would do this week at least is to have a look at, it's only 9:20. We're actually going really quickly. We might get up to the criteria. After we talk about the assignment, or actually, Peter, do you want to do it now? Do you want to show them how to do a search function?
Oh yeah, let's do a search function.
Peter's going to show you how to do a search function. Oh. Here we go. Stop sharing. Okay, Peter's going to now show you how to do a search on Blackboard discussion forum.
We'll do it on this one. Share that screen. Okay, I'm hoping you can all hear me well. So I'm going to the discussion forum, and up here, and you don't have to go into a particular one. Up here, there's the search button. So you click on search, and then you type what you want to search in this box. So let's go with NAPLAN, because loads of people for the last assignment couldn't find a video that was about NAPLAN. So you put in NAPLAN and then say search all forums, and then click on go. And you will get lots of things, all the posts that mention NAPLAN. And one of these is going to answer your question about which video actually mentions NAPLAN. So it's really easy. Okay, so You go to your discussion forums, you click on search, you put in the thing you want to search for. I can't remember how you spell that school. Irrewine. Oh, there, it's remembering for me. All forums, go, and then you'll find all sorts of things. People who've asked, how do you reference that thing? And you'll find the answer in one of these messages. Job done. Look, I actually typed the entire thing telling you exactly how to reference that thing in that message. Job done. That's simple.
Very good, Peter.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay, and I'll start sharing again. Okay, so that's how we do it. Now, Melanie has just sent a message saying that Building Successful Pathways is actually back on. So at 10 o'clock, either go to the online pass session to learn some study skills, not content or assessment, or go to Building Successful Pathways to learn about the University of Newcastle Student Association. I'm not going to get all political on you, but, you know, joining the Student Association can be a great source of support throughout your university degree. It can also help you become informed about different issues going around the university. So I would encourage you to participate and join the Student Association if you're able to, and if that aligns with your political values of, you know, we're all stronger together.
Is it part of the sports clubs and stuff, or part of that, or is that separate?
Yeah, it's part of the sports clubs as well. Yeah, loosely. So things like there's a Quidditch club here at the University of Newcastle. There's the engineering club. There's actually an education club as well. So that's probably the best one to join.
But it's not yet a canoe polo club.
Not yet a canoe polo club. That's your challenge for next year, Peter.
Yeah, well, I can't set one up. It has to be set up by a student.
If anyone likes canoe polo and wants to impress Peter and wants Peter to like them, get in touch with him because he wants to set up a polo canoe club.
Canoe polo.
Oh, canoe polo club. It's really lots of fun. So yeah, join. That was supportive.
That was.
Okay, so let's have a look at your assignment. Okay, so this assignment is twofold. Okay, one, it contains a video. Two, it contains a 1,000 word reflective exposition. So what we want you to do in the video is create a short video up to 5 minutes in which you explain to next year's incoming students. So it's as though you've been invited to create a video to show to new students the response to this statement. What have I learned on becoming a teacher and how I see myself in my career choice over the next 5 to 10 years? So that really links into lots of the things that we've been doing in this course from way back in week 1, if you might remember. The first few weeks we looked at teaching as a profession and what are some career choices and what are some career values and so forth. So it takes you all the way back. It's kind of like a synthesis of the entire course. We want you to think about what have I learned of becoming a teacher and how I see myself in my career choice over the next 5 to 10 years, presented in an interesting way to incoming students. So the incoming students are thinking, wow, this is a fabulous course, which we know it is. And they're convinced about that. So that's a 5-minute video. Then accompanying the video is a 1,000 word reflective exposition, okay? And references are not included in the word count. That provides the academic underpinnings for your video. So why did you say things about your career? Why did you say things about teaching and learning? Why did you say things about the quality teaching model, for example? What's behind that? What's the theory behind what you're talking about? That draws directly on the theoretical knowledge learned throughout the course. Okay, so go back and look over your readings. Go back and look over your Cornell methods of notes that you would have been taking every week to have as a summary. Go through the textbook again. Go through the weekly activities if you need to. Think about what's important from this course and what are the important theories and ideas that I can then write in my 1,000 word exposition. Okay, now we've intentionally not said that the 1,000 word is an exposition is an essay. But given that it's 1,000 words, I think if you kind of structure it in that way with a clear introduction, there's some topic paragraphs, a clear conclusion that synthesizes what you've been saying, you will be on the right track, okay? So I think if you look up, you know, how do I write an analytical essay, those kinds of ideas, you'll be on the right track. And then part 3 is that assess your response against the rubric for this assignment, okay? Highlight the criteria statements that you think apply to the quality of your assignment. Again, as we've said for the past 2 assignments, this part is an opportunity for you. Oh, is there anyone with their hands up? Oh, okay, good. It's an opportunity for you to review your work, okay? To think, oh, to review your work against the criteria and then think, did I use convoluted sentences? Have I missed the referencing? Have I missed a theory? Am I summarizing or describing rather than critically analyzing? So there we go. That's the idea for that part 3. Okay, I'm just looking through some of those comments now that have been written here. Oh, did you buy the new canoe, Peter? Everyone wants to know. Okay, so here I am trying to think, oh, what's going on? What? Oh, you're talking about polo canoe or canoe polo. Okay.
Important things.
Important things. I'll just continue teaching everybody. So don't worry about me. So they're the 3 parts of the assignment. Part 1 is a video reflection for 5 minutes. Part 2 is a reflective exposition of 1,000 words. And part 3 is that self-assessment. So make sure we're doing all 3 parts of the assignment. Let's keep going. Let's drill down a little bit further. Okay. This is really a problem. This working from a laptop. Okay. So submission. Let's have a look at part 1. Part 1, you upload your video to your computer. And there's info about how to do this in the Help Wiki. So all of this has got hyperlinks when it's on the Blackboard page within the assignment 3 folder, okay? Rename your video. So we've given you instructions about what to name your video so that when we go into market, it's really clear about who's doing what, okay? And then you need to go to UON Capture and there's instructions on how to do that to upload your video. So don't leave uploading your video until the night of the assignment being due, because we're probably going to get a little bit stricter with late submissions, okay, in assignment 3, because you've had assignment 1 and assignment 2 will be a little bit lenient, but for assignment 3, we're probably going to be a bit stricter. So don't say to me at 11:30 on Friday 11th of June, I can't, is this what you mean, Tori? Is that better? I can't upload my video. Okay, thanks, Tori. I didn't realize that would affect how you see it. Sorry. So here we go is the submission part 1. So have a practice run. Really know what you're doing. As soon as you should have your video finished probably a week before the assignment is due. Okay, so upload it then. Okay. Go to the learning schedule as well to show you what were those readings, what were those topics. Okay, so that's the part 1, uploading your video, or doing your video, then uploading it. Okay. Part 2, your response to part 2 must be typed into the assignment 3 templates document. I hope you're finding those templates documents useful. That was Peter's idea. My wonderful colleague, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Well, it depends whether they're useful.
Yes, I know that, but just from your look, I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, so both Siobhan, Cassandra, Kayla thinks that they're very, very good and very helpful. In fact, I think it was my idea to do that. If they're good, it was my idea. If they're not good, it's Peter's. I just remember that when you give us some feedback, okay? So yes, so follow the template. It's really easy. Don't change anything, just type away in, okay? Do not change the font in the template or the size of the cells in the tables. This sends Peter crazy, okay?
Except that if you're putting, oh no, I'm not going to do this for assignment 2, if you're putting the image in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Oh, Anthony, I didn't know that. Well, too bad. We'll just say, you say the templates were terrible then, but blame Peter.
Well, I don't understand. I've never had a problem deleting things in Word. I want to talk to Anthony about this. Email me, Anthony. I want to see what the problem is.
Yeah, Anthony, can you email Peter between feeding your baby and all that kind of stuff? Because Peter disagrees that it's a problem. He said, Anthony has no idea No, that's not true. He didn't
Lucky
say
if they
that.
can hear what I'm
I
saying.
know.
And
Anthony comes to-
watch.
And Anthony comes to all my sessions on Tuesday nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think, so if everyone else is, that was just a banner between me and Anthony. I wasn't bullying Peter that time.
But apparently I can take it.
You can take it. Okay. So that's part 1, part 2 and 3. We're in that template. And then save the file name as it's written here, please. And then submit your response via Turnitin in the assignment 3 section of the Blackboard site, the same way you've done it for assignment 2. And again, I would encourage you to do it before 5 o'clock on a Friday, so that if you're having problems uploading to Turnitin, you can seek support. So I know that some people have been having problems with Turnitin. I don't know why. I'm not necessarily surprised, because we are updating our systems next year. But for those of you who've been in touch and said, I can't do Turnitin, I know you're all going to figure it out today through IT services, and then it will be figured out for assignment 3. So that is parts 2 and 3. Are there any questions so far? Pop your hands up if there are. What week is exam week 1? Exam week 1 starts on Monday, the 7th of June, and the due date is Friday, the 11th of June, Nicholas. That's written in the learning schedule as well. So, yeah. We decided rather than have it due week 13, would give you an extra week to do it, because we're kind. That was my idea. Okay, let's go to the next part. So some guidance, okay? Let's have a look. Remember that the audience, if you have any questions, please pop your hand up, okay? I'm trying not to read, I'm actually not going to read the chat anymore. I find it really distracting. So please, rather than, don't ask questions in the chat, please raise your hand instead, okay? So part 1, remember that the audience for your video is students who are about to study EDUC 1038 or EDUC 1048. So we want you to know your audience. Your audience is not trying to impress Peter and me. Your audience is trying to impress students that are coming in and excite them and make them think, this is a fabulous course. I can't wait to do education. The teaching degree is the right degree for me, okay? So you can be as creative as you like about how to present your ideas in the video, but the main focus needs to be on you and your views. So sample options include talking to the camera, and you've got ideas on how to do that in the week 1 tutorial prep, talking us through a set of PowerPoint slides with or without a talking head on screen. So there's some sample options. If it's 5 minutes of PowerPoint, you'd want to make it pretty interesting, because PowerPoint's not always the most engaging way to present materials. But there's lots of different ways, and you can go out into the wilderness to present. You can, it doesn't have to be studio quality, okay? What we want is it to be interesting, entertaining, but also with the right kinds of information within it. You can use animation, you can use puppets, you can use props, you can convince your little sister or little brother to get involved, whatever you want, but you'll be marked on the content and on the presentation of it, okay? So be as creative as you like, okay? But if you do something that's super awesome, creative, but your content is lacking, then that will reflect in your marks, okay? So don't get too carried away with the whiz-bangery of presenting something awesome. We want you to also have the quality behind it, okay? The quality content. So you could create a rap or other genre of song if you want, that encapsulate your key messages. Or you may have other even more creative ways of conveying your thinking to the next year's intake of education students. Does anyone have any cool ideas? Let's go to Peter. Hi, Peter, how you going?
Hello. I have 3 kids, and I obviously do this from home. Can I touch on that in my video by saying how accommodating and understanding you guys are, so that anyone that is a mum or a dad that has children can understand that it's going to be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you, Peter. I actually really appreciate that comment. Because we do, Peter and I both have children ourselves, and both probably had struggles when they were little babies. And I'm, as you all know, I'm pregnant now.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that comment, Peter, and I would love for you to include that, because something that I know about mature age students who have children having been in this role for 15 years, is that they think they can't do it, but they can.
Yeah,
we know
no,
that they
yeah,
can.
it's certainly and I can never pronounce his name right, but I have my tute today 11 till 1.
Mhm.
And he's so accommodating and he's so understanding about it all.
Yep. Is that Jane?
And it's, I mean, like, my child's just projectile vomited everywhere and I'm going to be late. And he's like, it's fine. It's okay. Like, where, yeah, you don't get that understanding in every course.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. That actually makes me feel really warm that you said that. So I appreciate it. And yes, please talk about, because, in the textbook in chapter 1, we've got those vignettes by, what's her name? Amy Brown.
Yeah.
She's a mature age student. She's in her 4th year this year, who's got kids. And if you follow Amy Brown on Facebook, you'll see all of her talkings about doing university with kids. So definitely include that within it, because a large part of our cohort, a growing part of our cohort, is mums and dads. So
Yeah,
please
perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now we're going to go to Phoebe. Oh, shut. Oh, I just pressed the wrong person. Just give me a second. Okay. Hi, Phoebe.
Hey guys. Also onto the fact of mums and dads, but also students like me that have a illness that can prevent them from doing stuff periodically. So I do want to say thanks to you guys for that, and like most teachers that I've had since coming to uni.
Yeah.
But also, yeah. So I just wanted to say thanks and for that and everything.
Phoebe, I appreciate that comment as well. We try to be accommodating, but still working within the university policies. But there, rules are meant to be broken sometimes. Is my ideas, but I'm glad that you feel supported.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get through uni at all once I got really, really sick, and I'm not getting any better at this point. So, but yeah, the fact that you guys are really accommodating for that and you guys listen, thing, and not onto that, and to walk away from that point, for everybody else, Mr. Luke on TikTok is actually a really good source of inspiration and funny stories.
Okay.
As a teacher here in Australia, I think he's in somewhere down South Australia, Victoria, or even Melbourne area, maybe. I don't know. I forgot my geography.
Okay, Mr. Luke on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but I might see if I can look that up and check it out. Thank you, Phoebe, and thanks for your kind comments. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, Anthony, it's your turn to talk.
Hey, so Peter half answered this question on the Easy Retro about using stuff we've learned from this course. Now, I did Open Foundation last year, and there's a lot of similarities between this course and what I learned last year. Should I be focusing on the differences between that, or I'm not really too sure how to approach it otherwise?
Yeah, that's an interesting comment, Anthony. But you could address your video to students coming out of the foundation studies if you like.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
an idea on how to approach it. Thank you very much.
That's okay. No worries. The reason there's commonality between this course and the other courses because they took my content and then reworked it. Yep, reworked it. So yes, I know that for a fact. I know who I gave it to, and so yeah, there is commonalities. Probably maybe too many, but I can't change that. So yep. So you can do your wrap. Let's go back. Keep asking questions if you've got them, please.
Can I just throw in? Remember, folks, to look at the criteria because 1.2 about understanding is about that you're talking about the kind of key topics within the course. So it's demonstrating that you've understood what the key things are that the course talks about. So it's it's nice to say how great we are, but you probably get fewer marks for that than you do for Heather shaking her head. You're not marking her. Than you do for actually talking about the topics and showing how the topics link together and providing the academic underpinnings to support your argument in your video about what's important and what the topics are and your views about those topics.
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. I do agree. I just like a little bit of flattery on my Monday morning. But in fact, if you think the course has been really good, you could do two things for us. One, you could write to our boss, Professor Susan Ledger, and say how you've been supported. I'm being serious.
Yeah,
This
no,
stuff matters.
I know. I collect all the emails. When I get a positive email, I've got a folder of
This
of
stuff
positive
matters
feedback.
because I know for a fact at the moment the staff are looking at who's going to do the courses next year. And if they only get complaints about Peter and I, they'll take us off the course. But if they get people saying you support us with kids, you support us with adverse circumstances, all that kind of thing, then that shows that it's good. And you can also fill in the student surveys when they come out. So I'll go to Kayla first and then Jessica. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, how you going?
Good.
That's good. I was just wondering, with the video part, is that just more of a like kind of like rephrasing of your exposition in a sort of more colloquial kind of way, or is it like you literally read out your exposition?
No, you're definitely not reading out your exposition. Absolutely not. I guess the first thing that you said about being more colloquial, being more interesting and engaging is what we're talking about, because you don't want to bombard your audience with lots of high-end theory. You want to talk about it with them in a layman's way, and then yes, your exposition will support that with the theoretical understanding.
Okay, so
and with the references. So you're not going to go to the students, hey guys, come along to EDUC 1038, EDUC 1048. You're going to learn about systems theory, Patton and McMahon's system theories framework, 2010, page 5, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be much more colloquial. And then when you do your writing, that's where you get in all those references.
Okay, so it's sort of just like a rephrase, pretty much, but in a more colloquial way.
It's the exposition. Yeah, I guess the exposition is that student-friendly talk, and the theoretical one is more the nitty-gritty in supporting what you're saying with the actual theories.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. I think you're on the right track, Kayla.
Okay, thank you for all the support over the course as well.
You're welcome. Thank you. Jessica, how can I help you?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, my computer has been glitching all morning and
Ugh.
it finally stopped for now, hopefully.
What a pain.
Just a quick question, and I think Peter did just answer it. What specifically in the video are you looking for? Like, for example, week 8, it was virtual videos. Do we talk about how educational they were for us as students, or?
Yeah, so what I would suggest that you do is you sit down and even do a mind map or even just a brainstorm and go, what are the key ideas from the course that I've learned about? We don't want a week by week necessarily, dot point summary of what the course is about. We want to know overall what the course was about. How can we apply some critical thought to what we've been learning? What were the readings that we read about? What were the new ideas that we learned about that we didn't know? So think about yourself in the week before the course started, what you didn't know, and now how much you've learned from the course is what we're really after, rather than in week 1 we did this, in week 2 we did this. If you don't talk about the virtual school videos, that's also fine.
Yeah, and I think for me the thing is, while we've had particular topics each week, and indeed there's, most weeks we've had that diagram at the beginning that kind of gives you the overview of the whole course, and that says that we're focusing on this bit, but all those things are interrelated, right? And there are some kind of key themes that are cut across all of those things. Like, Heather and I quite deliberately disagree because we're trying to illustrate the idea that actually debate is a good thing, and you need to be pulling out what you think and be able to argue and support your point. And I hope that kind of cuts across everything. So there are some kind of themes and things that emerge that cut across. So the thing about equity and diversity, right? I think that cuts across lots of the different weeks where we've deliberately tried to bring in material that reflects an understanding and valuing of different perspectives and of different cultures, because that's something we think underpins everything that we do.
Yeah.
So I think it's that, the course is about becoming a teacher, and what have you learned about that, and how does that all tie together as a kind of holistic, what have I got out of the course? Yeah.
And I think something else I'd say to add to that, Peter, is that I think everyone's video is going to be different. So everyone's video is going to be different because you've all come to the course from a different route, and you've all come to the course with a different reason for becoming a teacher. And some of you might not want to become a teacher, and you're going to use this course as as support for your career choices in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's okay to have lots of different things. And, you know, if Anthony's going to talk about being a foundation student and coming in, that's awesome. The other students are going to talk about, I was a parent and this is how it supports me. That's awesome as well. So I really expect there to be a wide range of correct answers for this assignment.
Okay, thanks. That really helps a lot. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks, Jessica. Are there any other questions at the moment, or would you like me to keep going? Okay, I'll keep going for the moment. So then we've got for you in part 1. I'm just going to move this over a bit. Some resources for you that may help you with producing your videos. Okay. So lots here. So use them. Actually, when you're thinking about what am I going to write about, when you're having a writer's block, for example, then actually look at the examples that we're providing you about how you can produce your video and how is it interesting and so forth. For parts 1 and 2, sample sources that you can draw on are listed here as well. We've got the course reading, the textbook, the Australian Professional Standards of Teaching, the Quality Teaching Framework, and the Alice Spring of Partway Education Declaration. These are important documents for you to be using to explain what have I learned about becoming a teacher and how will this inform my career over the next 5 to 10 years. You know, there's a few goals of education within the Education Declaration, and it first started in 1988 and it's been updated every 10 years. So use the documentation that you have to get ideas about what you can talk about. Feel free to refer directly to different sources as well, okay? So as well as your own ideas, other points you might address include, how did your perspective change or not change from what you thought the job of a teacher might be when you first began to what you now understand about becoming and being a teacher? What surprised you in your learning about teachers and teaching? What are the major equity and diversity issues you face as a teacher of the future? How do ethical, legal and moral issues affect teachers? What implications does the hidden curriculum, official knowledge and other schooling ideas have for you as an educator? How did the virtual school visit you undertook as part of the course impact your understanding of what it is to be a teacher from an educator's perspective? So these are just points that you could include. We're not going to mark them and go, oh, did you do that? Did you do that? Did you do that? These are just ideas to get you thinking, okay, about what you might address if it's relevant for you. So that's part 1, okay? And then part 2, the audience, well, in part 2, the audience is an academic. So it's myself, Peter, and your tutor, okay? So that's when we're dropping the colloquial language and we're ramping it up a bit and saying, these are the theories that we're talking about. This is where they're from. Here are some quotes. Here's a real synthesis of my understanding of the course and what it is to become a teacher. Okay, so you need to demonstrate how the ideas in your video are underpinned by ideas, concepts, frameworks, theories from the course and other sources that you have studied as part of the course. This should be a coherent, academic, reflective exposition and should provide references to relevant sources to support what you are saying. Okay. I highly recommend, if you're struggling with academic literacy, that you get the support of Learning Support. Okay, they're here to help you. I've written lots of emails about their links. So go back to those emails that I've written, that Peter and I have written, sorry, and they're all on the Blackboard page as well, to go to those workshops. Learn how to write well. You do it this semester, it'll carry you through for the rest of your 4 years. And then they've also got some general tips for academic reflections. And there they are there, okay? And examples of good and poor critical reflections, okay? So there's some modelling there for you. People said, are you going to have a task to model it to us? This is the modelling for you, okay? Going to those web links, having a look at what others have done. This is what we want you to look at. And then part 3 again, you're about to self-mark your own work as a way to reflect on whether or not you think you've met the assignment criteria. Who's been using this third part in the assignments as a way to actually reflect on their assignment before they submit? Who has actually changed stuff in their assignment before they submit based on carefully reading the criteria? Yep, lots of you, good. Okay, great, I'm glad, because that's the purpose of it. And I think we can see that reflected in the really fabulous marks students got in assignment 1, and hopefully it'll be reflected again in assignment 2. So it's really good. really look at that criteria and look at the criteria as well before you even start doing the assignment in depth. Okay, so you know what's going on. Okay, and all of the criteria relevant to the assignment brief. Okay, and so when when marking, really think about it and think, did I do this? Could I do something else? Could I enhance it? Am I too descriptive? Have I included, is my video, up to 5 minutes? Like, even those kinds of simple things. Am I rambling too much? Okay, think about it, mark yourself, and then edit your work, and then mark yourself again. Okay. And oops. And so that's it for assignment 3. Does anybody have any questions about assignment 3 that we can help you with today? We've got Kayla. Give me a second. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, sorry, just got a quick question. In another assessment with like a similar kind of thing where we've got to do a video, they said to like sort of present yourself as if you're in the classroom, like dress professionally, talk really professionally. Is that like the same case for this as well?
No, not necessarily. If you want to go into a classroom and set yourself up as though you're a teacher, that's great, that's fine. But actually, no, that's not a requirement for this assignment, because what we want you to do is communicate to incoming students. So I actually had this as an assignment last year for another course in the Master of Teaching, and they were to present an idea for doing a geography unit. And I said to the students, go out into the bush if you want and present some ideas out there. It doesn't need to be studio quality. We're looking at something that is engaging to students, to incoming students. So that could do anywhere from a news report style, a teacher staff room style, out in the real world style. It can be a combination of different things as well. So feel free to really take that how you want, but we're not going to be prescriptive like that. What course is that for, Kayla?
It's for EDUC 1050.
What's EDUC 1050?
It's a second year course, and it's like all about pedagogies and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And that's probably appropriate for that. I'm just curious. I want to go and speak to the course coordinator actually, because it sounds interesting. I want to see what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
So I'll look it up myself at EDUC 1050. Thank you. Yeah, that's not the purpose of this assignment. No.
Okay.
But
cool.
Kayla, if you're already dressed up as a school teacher in a school classroom and you think you could do the assignment like that, this assignment, then go for it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Talia, how can we help you? Could you unmute yourself, please? Talia? Nope. Okay, I don't think Talia wants to talk to us after all. Would anyone else like to ask any questions about assignment 3? So next week, I expect you to come with some more questions because you had more of a chance to read through the assignment task sheet. And I want you to think about, it says, choose your topic. Well, what we really mean there is think about how you're going to answer that question, write down some dot points. So come next week with those kinds of questions. And what we'll do next week is we'll go through the actual criteria for assignment 3. So today we looked at the instructions. Next week, we'll look at the criteria. Don't forget that Melanie's session, Building Successful Pathways, is back on. They've got someone who's not sick to come and present. So tune into that and/or go to the parts session. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, we might give you a 7-minute early mark. Living on the edge today. Well, we are supposed to finish at 5 minutes to the hour. So the same link for Melanie every week, Jack, and she sent it through in an email last night. So it's not this link, it's another link. I can see people are dropping out, but I'll just stay on for another 2 minutes in case there's other questions people want to ask. Pop your hand up if there is, and we're still recording. See ya, Samuel. You're welcome, Kayla. You're welcome, Remy. This has to be the nicest, most polite group I've ever taught. Except when you say that I'm bullying Peter. You're welcome. See you next week, Auntie. Hopefully see you tomorrow night on Zoom. You're welcome, Zachary. See you, Rihanna. I'll definitely be there tomorrow night. Thank you, Luana. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sophie and Phoebe. Hope you both enjoyed it. Oh, someone's got their hand up. Yes, 126447. How can we help you?
Hi, I'm back again. I just have a question. Is this reflective video just going to be about this course, or can you do a bit on all your courses, other courses as well?
Focus on this course. Yep. Definitely. The criteria sheet is just about this course. But if there's other things that are interesting and can be applied to the assignment, then definitely include that wider, that wider reading as well. But the focus is definitely on the course, this course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie and Emily. Brian and everyone else. Okay, I might leave it there. So thank you everyone for coming along. And I can hear Peter still tapping away on the easy retro board or filing and plan about bullying. So actually doing my voice when I dialect, I might charge you extra for that in 9921. All right, bye everybody. See you later. Yes, hi, Kobe.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. I emailed you when was it, on Friday, about my assessment 2. I'm the one having issues with Turnitin. So it happened last time when I tried to upload my assessment for assessment 1 as well. And what it does is it asks me to sign in to Turnitin. And that never happened with me before when I was doing Open Foundation last year. And so I've used pretty much every single email that I currently have and try to sign in with it, and nothing's really working. And I'm not too sure, like, do I need to call up the uni and try and get that sorted, or do I need to make an account to turn it in, or like?
Well, I did reply to your email on Saturday. Just I want to make that I just want to point that out that I replied to your email on a non-working day.
Yep.
And I did say to you, coding thinking this time and also tutor. You need to upload your returns in please write one Monday after contacting IT services. You will not have any money deducted if you submit it by Monday.
Yep.
And then you replied to me as well that same day. Thank you. So I can't help you with signing issues, but you can only sign in with your university email address.
Okay.
So how was it resolved for assignment 1?
See, that's the thing. I just emailed my assessment to Yvonne, and she just said to not worry about uploading it to Turnitin. She'll just mark it through it herself, and then she'll like sort out putting the marks onto Blackboard and stuff. So she said to not worry about sorting that out, and it should just sort itself out, I guess. Like it might have just been like a weird little like one-off thing or something, you know what I mean? That does happen sometimes, she said. So I was like, okay, no worries, cool. And for my history classes, it works fine, which is weird. It's just for this one class, so
Your email, there's some that we're not going to start, but I would really encourage you to contact IT services today
Yeah.
to ask them for support in that.
Too easy. I'll do that now. Thank you very much.